everyone! Happy almost Christmas, sort of. So I was racking my brain with ideas to do for a Christmas themed video. Since I've been doing a lot of manga reviews lately, I decided, how about I review a Christmas manga? Now some people might not even know that Christmas manga exists. It's very hard to find, especially if you're living in the States like me. And mainly the reason is because they usually have Christmas manga published in magazines as like one-shots, just for the season, you know, just some happy short story for people to pick up the magazine, read, and enjoy. It's not very often that they're actually serialized into volumes for people to buy separately from the magazine. And because of that, they're not often translated and brought to the States for us to enjoy. However, there is this one manga that I know of that was, you know, originally made to be a one-shot in a magazine and then got serialized into volumes, translated, and brought here. And this manga is known as Sweet Rein, that classic Christmas story about a female Santa Claus who falls in love with her reindeer. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. But of course, I have no right to criticize the animal-human romances. I do love how they made this cover because it just perfectly captures exactly what this is about. Like, you get him with the fucking collar and cat eyes, even though he's not a cat, picking up female Santa Claus in her pretty and short Santa Claus dress here, and he's not even holding her, actually. She's just like kind of floating above his hands. I do feel like I need to specify, not Mrs. Claus, she is a Santa Claus. And, you know, I do feel like the idea of a female Santa Claus is kind of popular, especially in Japan, because every time I see them adapt a Santa Claus, it's always a female Santa Claus. Because I guess they just love the whole magical girl stuff, and if Santa's a magical being, it makes sense to make him into a magical girl. But anyway, getting into the story a little bit, the way they try to set this up is that Santa Claus is not really like a person, but more like, I don't know, some kind of magic that gets passed down to different people. Like, people are Santas.
All the other Santas died out. I'm the last one standing.
Okay, I truly believe that whoever made this game has no sense of what Santa is.
Right.
And every Santa has their own reindeer, I guess, picked for them by fate. And if by chance they bump into each other, they'll just like be tied together with this rein, this rope that just ties them together. I guess part of it is supposed to be kind of like the thread of fate, you know, like a little reference to that. But anyway, so this normal teenage girl, she's sad because she's gonna be spending Christmas alone. She bumps into her reindeer and finds out that she's one of the Santas, and he is her reindeer. And so he's like, oh, so you're my master, and thus starts that good old master-servant romance. And basically, whatever she commands him to do, he has to do. I personally have never been really into the master-servant romance. I can sort of understand why people like it. Like, for instance, in this manga, you know, it's not like a really terrible thing that he's her servant or whatever. He's like happy to be serving her. He's a very happy-go-lucky character in general. And like one of the running gags that they use a lot in this manga is that whenever she wants him to come to her, all she has to do is tell him to come to her and he'll just show up like a poof teleport over there. And I can understand why a lot of people would romanticize that part of the master-servant thing. There are definitely times where I wish I could just poof Adam over here whenever I need him, especially because we don't live very close together. But honestly, it would be kind of tough, I think, for a relationship where you have to do whatever one person says, because they essentially have all the control. And that's tough for both sides, because that means that one side, the servant side, won't always get what they want or need out of the relationship. They just have to follow orders. And even the master, like, even though the other side is doing exactly what you want and all you have to do is tell them to do it, I feel like that would also be stressful, because they should be able to do nice things for you of their own free will. So, you know, it's like this stressful idea of, do I have to tell them to do things for me for them to actually do things for me? Once again, me and my boyfriend, he asks me what I want all the time. I have no idea what I want. Usually 9 times out of 10, I have no idea how to answer his question of what do I want to do or where do I want to eat. I find it 10 times more romantic when he's able to surprise me with like a gift or a nice place to eat, you know, rather than me just dictating what the relationship is like. It feels so much better when we both put in effort to make the relationship a whole. So me personally, I just don't really like the master-servant romance, but I can kind of understand why other people like it. So that's where I stand. So apparently this Rein that they have attached to each other, it's like invisible to other people, and it stretches, but it's not intangible. Or at least they don't say it's intangible. So I can just like imagine these funny scenarios where like the string is getting caught on shit it's just knocking shit over. Some bicyclist comes by, and this rope that's stretching out from miles away just fucking knocks them into oblivion. Santa falling in love with their reindeer who can turn into human is one thing. But Santa and their reindeer being attached to a rope that is not intangible while they're miles apart from each other? Come on, man. Their dynamic is done actually pretty quickly. The very basic idea is she's just happy to not be alone. He's just happy to have a purpose. And so they decide, yes, let's do Christmas together. They don't actually do the entire world because of this idea of there being multiple Santas. I guess they do like different parts of the world, different cities, different towns. But I must admit, reading this manga for the first time, it really surprised me how quick Christmas wraps up. It's like they spend the Christmas together, she's happy that she got to spend Christmas with someone and doing good deeds for that matter. And then before you know it, boom, it's summer. It's just straight up summer in the next chapter. You'd be surprised to know that a lot of this manga actually doesn't take place during Christmas. A lot of it weighs in on just this idea of this master-servant romance between Miss Santa and her furry reindeer. And every now and then they like do something nice for a kid who's like sick or sad, you know?
Just something happened!
So some of you might wonder, if there's not much going on in this manga, how the heck did they stretch it out for 3 volumes? Which is a fair question. Now obviously, the romance, you could stretch out a romance story for as long as infinity. You can just always keep that romance story going and never conclude it. I've seen it happen. By the end of the first manga, he actually says that he's in love with her, so she's well aware. And of course, it just keeps going regardless. You'll be happy to know that in the 3rd volume, it's all full, it's chock full of just steamy, it's just all steam, just of Santa and her reindeer finally having sex. Why did you make me read this, guys? And another fantastic plot point that they put into this series, and this is spoilers, so if you think that you would love to read this manga series completely spoiler-free, please click off the video, check the description, and go read to your heart's content. But ladies and gentlemen, have you heard of the anti-Santa? They put Dark Santa into this manga series about a female Santa and her reindeer fucking, and they put Dark Santa in there because they needed a villain. Oh, and you better believe that Dark Santa does not look scary at all, because this is anime, guys. Dark Santa ain't nothing but a emo fuckable husbando. He's about as scary as Draco Malfoy. But getting serious, this is basically just anime shenanigans with a little bit of the reindeer, furry romance stuff under a master-servant type dynamic where the servant is like very happy-go-lucky type of guy, very touchy. I didn't mean to make that motion, I'm sorry. He's very touchy and she's like, I don't want you near me. Oh, you know what's another fun thing they did? I don't actually know if it's like intentional or not, but they made a little hat tip to the Santa Claus with the whole, Santa being able to pull things out of an empty bag. Yeah, she can do that because she's a Santa. A Santa, not the Santa. Part of me, when I heard this premise, I actually expected it to just be like the Santa Claus. With her not wanting to do Christmas and everyone having to like convince her like, no, you're Santa, you have to. If you don't do it, all these kids are gonna be upset. Obviously, they would not have like her actually being turned into Santa Claus, as I'm sure a lot of people would not be super into a cute girl turning into a fat man with a beard. Or I don't know, maybe they are. I don't know what kind of people are reading this. But there you have it, guys. Sweet Rein. It's definitely a weird one. It's funny that this is probably like the only Christmas manga I could find that was actually serialized into volumes and translated for English for me to read. It's not a traditional Christmas story like the ones that we're used to. It's not like those Rankin Bass Christmas specials at all. It's basically just a rom-com with some other sci-fi elements. Like I said, a lot of it doesn't even take place during Christmas. It's just like skips to summer. But I mean, if you're into rom-coms in general, if you're into, slice of life stuff with a little bit of sci-fi element in there, or a little bit of magical element or whatever, you'd probably enjoy this. I wouldn't put it on any of my top 10s, but it is definitely like a goofy, Christmassy manga to read. And I'd be willing to bet that somebody in the comments section has heard of this manga and is like super shocked that I'm reviewing it right now. So what do you guys think of Sweet Rein? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments section. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed my little review. Happy almost sort of Christmas, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Program restart.